Hello and welcome back to another video on this channel. In today's video I want to show you how I automatically generate some sprites I use within my game, because this is a real life and time saver. So let's jump right into it. Within my game I just use the sprites from my object. You see here on the, I can zoom in here a bit. You see these icons here. These are some 2D variants of my 3D models you can see right here. But instead of creating these one by one, I coded a really short script that automatically creates some 2D sprites of all my objects within this game. So I can just press the Tools context menu and then generate transparent preview. And with a click on that, every single sprite gets generated. Nice. So let's see in code how I've done that. So at first I created some kind of function, the generate transparent preview function, and used the menu item as an attribute. So under tools, I can just have a button in the context menu which says generate transparent preview. And with a click on that, this function gets executed. So at first, I just load all of my world object data. This is the class where I save all the data from each world object or resource, but only in the path world environment objects. So I have to make sure that within this folder called resources, there's the folder world environment objects. And within there are plenty of scriptable objects, which is my world object data. Yeah, and with the toList, I make sure that I got a flat list from these resources. And then I'll just iterate over every single world object. So what do I do exactly? Within the scriptable object, I make sure that I have the world object as a game object itself referenced. This is important because later I want to spawn this exact object in the scene and make some kind of screenshot of it. Also, Unity already created some thumbnails for these assets. For example, this one for the tree. So I basically just check, okay, is there a preview? Actually, there's a preview every time when there's a renderable 3D object. So I make sure, is there a 3D renderable object? And if so, I go further. And if not, I just say, okay, hey, the thumbnail just couldn't be generated. After that, I make sure to get the prefab of that world object and instantiate this. And make sure to have it positioned at the vector 0, so it is basically in the center of the whole scene. And then I make sure that I get all renderers. In my case, this is only one renderer, but maybe you have some more because you have some children with the renderers or something like that. In the next step, I just calculate all the bounds from every renderer. And for each bound in the renderer, I just encapsulate this, which basically means I increase the size of the bounds so that it matches for all renderers. I put a link in the description for the Unity documentation for the encapsulate method. And here I'm just create a new camera. So I create an empty game object, then I add the component camera on it, then I make sure that the camera clear flags is a solid color. This is important because in this statement I set the background color to a transparent color, which means that there's basically nothing to render. Meaning there's no color, no black, no white, there's just nothing in the background, which is pretty important because we want to have a transparent background for our sprites. Also, because my game is orthographic, I decided to use orthographic sprites too, but this step isn't that necessary if it doesn't match your game style. In the next step, we are positioning the camera. For that, we are getting the center of our calculated bounds from the top here and save that to a new vector3 variable. We then get the max size from the x, y, and z coordinate to get the most distant value. And also we double that and save that in a new float variable called distance. This isn't really necessary, but I think it's a super great security margin, and a nice way to have some space at the borders. Then I set the orthographic size, of course, because we have the orthographic mode on, to something smaller than the max size. This is just a constant value of 0.6. But you could also make this a serialized field and play with it and check if you like the results. We then are positioning the camera 2.5 over the center but on the X and on the Z axis we are using the distance value. Of course in negative, because we want to see our object from the front. And to make sure our camera is looking at our object, we just say cam.transform look at the center. This should be, in a good scenario, the same as vector 3.0. After that, we are making sure to get our correct render texture. So we are setting the size. In my case, I just use 512 pixels and a color depth of 24. So this is generating a nice RGB render texture with a size of 512 pixels to 512 pixels. And we're setting the output of our camera to our target texture to our render texture. So the target texture is equal to the render texture. This means that everything the camera sees is now rendered to our render texture. This is the same logic that minimaps use. And then we want to make sure that the camera renders. So now we have a current render texture, but we cannot save it. We first need to convert that to a texture 2D. So in the next step, we are just creating a new texture 2D variable, setting with the constructor a new texture 2D. This is having the same size as our render texture, which we set is 512 to 512. And as we are using a depth of 24, we are using RGBA 32, which basically means that we are supporting all 32-bit colors from the RGB spectrum, including the alpha value. We're then reading all the pixels into our generated texture 2D object with a new rectangle from 0, 0 to 512, 512. So we get everything out of our render texture and apply that to the texture 2D. So we now have a variable which holds all the necessary pixels, and now we want to encode this to a PNG file, which basically is simply done by this convenience function encode to PNG from Unity. Then we're just setting the output path, writing this all to the file, and remain with a simple logging message that this was saved. And after that, we're just doing some small cleanup tasks, which are basically resetting the render texture and our camera target texture. And we are destroying all of our temporary objects, like for example the camera, the temporary game object we created earlier, which is just the resource, or the render texture itself. After that, we want to refresh our asset database so that our assets are shown in our asset window below and the thumbnails are created. So now when I go to tools and hit generate transparent preview, we can see that in our world items folder, all the sprites are generated, and you see at the right that this worked like a charm. Yep, that's it. It's a real time saver. I hope you liked the video. I hope I could help you a little bit if you encounter the same problem. If you don't want to miss videos like this or on my game, then please smash the subscribe button and we see us in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.